actually, actually, actually don't listen to music. It's fucked up. I'll tell you why. Music is one of the most addictive things out there. You compare it with any task: washing the dishes, watching TV, I guess, learning, walking outside, driving, cooking, almost everything. You can do every single task with music on, almost every single one. But what happens when you don't listen to music when you do those tasks? So, what if you just, I don't know, walk outside without music? Or you clean the dishes without music? Or you, Wakefield, drive without music? What happens, bro? What happens? Guess what? Those tasks become boring. And maybe they were boring before, but now they're extremely boring because you paired it up with like music. It's like dopamine layering. You added this extra layer of dopamine onto the task, and now that's not there. It's not as fun, is it? So you made the task that you needed to do anyway, like driving somewhere, washing the dishes, I guess your walk outside. You were supposed to do those things, and now you made it even harder for yourself for that little bit of extra dopamine, for that fun, right? For that quick dopamine. Ah. You fucking dopamine goblin. But yeah, it comes down to everything that you do without music becomes boring. And I used to listen to music every single day. So my whole life became boring. Everything became boring. Yeah, I used to listen to music waking up, just in the bathroom even. I would just listen to music. The only time I didn't listen to music, like when I was 14, 15, 16, was when I showered. And for the rest of the day, I just listened to music, or I was scrolling, one of the two, right? Just listen to music or scrolling. Can you imagine, like, waking up, listening to music? Going to school, listening, at school also, listening to music. I remember one time I was in class, and this guy was teaching German, and I was just sitting, not in front, but kind of in the middle of the class, and I was just listening to music, and I was just so in my own world. Apparently, everybody told me like, "Yo, the teacher's talking to you," and they like told me, but I had noise canceling, and I didn't hear anything. Someone had to tap me on my shoulder to tell me that the teacher told me that I wasn't allowed to listen to music in class, but I still did it anyway. So kind of undercover, undercover. I at least I wore a hoodie. My hair wasn't always this long, but I used to wear a hoodie. And you might be wondering, what was I thinking about, right? When listening to music. I was in my own world. I was dreaming about being this main character in this show that I watched. Or, just, I don't know, being all, not depressed, but just sad and emotional. Because music enhances your feelings, but it works both ways, right? If you feel happy and listen to some happy music, you become even happier. But if you kind of sad and you listen to sad music, you kind of become sadder. I remember just sitting in my room, like literally this room. Holy shit. Because I was literally sitting in this room with my earphones in, and I just kind of looked down and listened to this depressed music. And I would just be in my own world, right? I was just feeling my emotions, and it was just sad emotions. And sometimes I would just, nah, never mind. I'll tell it another time. But for now, it's cool. Oh yeah, I listen to these TikTok songs. Like, I'll show the names of the songs somewhere around here, just around my face. You can search them up, and you'll start to cringe, right? Because they're very old, very old, and you'll feel like, bro, this guy was on some cringe shit. And yes, I was. It was very bad. It was very bad. Yeah. Like I said before, music enhances your mood, but the crash is also very real. I have a whiteboard. I was thinking about bringing it up, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. Okay. So there are some problems with the whiteboard that I wanted to use, so we're just gonna use some pen and paper, I guess. I guess I use this book. It's like my journal. I'll use my journal for you guys. So, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's just okay. Look. I don't know how visible this is. Oh, okay, you can see it, right? Let me draw. Okay, it is not inverted. In fact, it's not inverted. Listen. This is the dopamine graph thing, right? I don't know if it's very visible or not, but you're just gonna have to, like, this is the x-axis, right? You see? This is the y-axis, okay? Now, this is the dopamine. This side is the dopamine. The higher I get, the more dopamine is released, yeah? And this is time. This is time. This is like the time to spend. And let's see. Like normally you have like a baseline around here, right? Let's say you have a baseline around here. I know a very straight line and you can't even properly see it. But okay, look. So when we listen to music, we go from, so we have this spike, okay? We have this peak thing, right? You see the peak? Yeah, this is the peak. This is what happens. Listening to music, peak, okay? Dopamine is at a high. At some point, yeah, your dopamine is going to go down because that's just how it works. It goes down below baseline. Okay? So now this is the depth. It's not that deep, right? I mean, this is the baseline, so this is the depth. And yeah, we listen to more music, so it goes up again. Not as high as the last one. And it goes even further down. Right? You see what I'm getting at? This is what happens when you listen to music. You crash and you bump it back up. You crash and you bump it back up. And what happens then is we go even lower, right? We go even lower. And at some point we hit the baseline, right? And at this point we realize that listening to music is kind of, okay, we're done. We're kind of saturated with listening to music. We're done. But now we're at baseline. Guess what happens? 0. Okay, not 0. You couldn't even go lower. I just drew it in this way. But you see what happens, right? You just go down. And at some point you stop listening to music because it's enough. It's not even fun anymore. It's not even entertaining. It doesn't even give you dopamine anymore, right? At this point, yeah, you're kind of recovering. And it slowly goes back up, okay, to baseline. And then we kind of move from there again. You know how crazy this is? Listening to music, you know, with the peak goes down, up, down, baseline, down. And then it very slowly moves up to baseline again. This is what happened when you listen to music. You can look at it again. I mean, I guess you can rewind it. You can duplicate your web browser and then just, or if you watch it on your phone, you're just fucked. I'm sorry. But that's what happens. And when you think that when the graph is on the bottom, do you think you're actually motivated to do something? Tell me when you're there, right? Or even around here, right? Do you think you're actually motivated to do something? To work on your goals? To make YouTube videos? To work on school? To do the dishes? To walk outside? Do you think you have the energy to do those things? I don't think so. And this doesn't even apply to music alone. This also applies to just cheap dopamine tactics, like just watching YouTube, what you're doing right now, right? Okay, this is not the same thing. You're actually learning here, but 90% of people just watches YouTube for the content and the fun and the entertainment. This is what happens, bro. And I'm not saying you can't have fun. I'm saying there are better ways to have fun. Cool. Like reading a book. And you can say, I don't like books. Shut the fuck up. You chose not to like books. I didn't used to like books. Nah, that's actually not true. And when I was like from age 7 to 12, I used to love books. But at some point I hated them because my phone was so fun. And in comparison, my book is not fun. You chose to like those things and dislike these things in comparison. You just have no self-restraint. Stop listening to music, honestly. And just stop being a fucking degenerate. What happened to just thinking? How many, if you go with public transport, right? How many people do you see either scrolling or listening to music? It's insane. How many people do you see actually just being there and looking at the surroundings and appreciating their surroundings? No one does that. Almost no one does that. But just being outside and looking at the buildings and the sky and just nature around you, I guess. Depends on where you live. Just appreciating the view. I lost my earphones around a month ago, and I didn't listen to music so in a month because I only listen to music with my earphones and in the car a bit, but I'm not allowed to drive in the car, and I lost my earphones, so I didn't listen to music. And I noticed these last 3 days, I haven't really been humming songs. Do you know what that means? It means that my mind isn't occupied with the music that I've been listening to for so long. I actually now have room to think and create ideas and actually do something instead of subconsciously just listening. And it's like affirmations almost, how much I listen to music. And yeah, now I'm just free to think and be creative and do something. It's very freeing. I'm more present as well. Especially during subway hours, I I wish everybody would watch my videos, man. Then they could learn about dopamine and shit. Dopamine and how music is kind of bad for you. It's fun in the moment, but decreases your quality of life. Oh, before I forget, I found this quote in this book. Where's this book? I actually use it as a stand. Wait, hold on. Before I forget. There's a quote from this book, right? Hyperfocus. Very good book. Explains you how to use your focus, not increase your focus, but how to manage the focus that you already have, the attention span that you already have. Like optimizing your use of the attention span that you already have. And in the book, right, there's this quote, or at least I quoted it, and it goes like this. The more we manage our attention with intention, the more focused, productive, and creative we become. Right? Not right. The more we manage our attention with intention, the more focused, productive, and creative we become. That's a good ass quote. Do you understand? I don't know. You're also thinking whilst you're listening to music, right? So if you think about it, thinking becomes boring too. Because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Oh, that's very interesting because you're listening to music and you're thinking whilst being in the subway. So I guess thinking also becomes very boring because you're layering the dopamine with thinking. I've never really thought about that. That's interesting. That's also something for you to think about. What do you layer in with music? And is it as enjoyable if you do without music? Oh, I remember this friend of mine. We used to go to the gym together. And he used to listen to music the whole time when going to the gym. And when we're together, I'm like, I don't listen to music. At some point we're doing an exercise and he really doesn't feel like doing it anymore. He tells me there's so much friction to do the exercise when I'm not listening to music. And I don't really have that, because I just do the exercise, I can motivate myself. And he explains to me, yeah, I need music because it just motivates me and helps me come off the friction to do the exercise. That's kind of weak, isn't it? Because why can't you use your own yourself to do it? Yeah, something to think about. I guess if you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate that you watched everything. I feel like you've benefited. Every YouTube video could benefit you, but it's also up to you to show how much it benefit you. This could be your life-changing video. Stop listening to music, getting on track, getting consistent. You know, every YouTube video that's about self-improvement has the potential to transform your life. It's all about perspective. I'll see you in the next one. If I can find the button. Okay.